you'd only be able to act against him if he were acting as the acting chief of police. Do you recall that? And you indicated that either before, I think before the interview, oh, I apologize, the witnesses' files have disappeared. The witness doesn't seem to have files. They took my files, I don't know. I know, I do apologize. Joy, what's the story there? Thank you. There were basic assumptions made that the witnesses' files will still be here, but for some reason or other they were removed, all of them, and I note even the extra files.
Should we wait outside?
2 minutes. 2 minutes while we track them down. Apologies, Chair.
No, when he's done, Sorry. Just to see if Dr. Mashazi has the files in any particular order there. Do you want to sort them out, or are you fine as they are, Doctor?
I must indicate that this is one of the disadvantages.
We'll just take an adjournment and you'll indicate to us. We'll
but
adjourn,
I'm
Doctor.
fine.
Sorry, Doctor.
I will arrange. I'm fine.
You're fine. You had begun to, I thought, complain. Maybe let me hear you out, Doctor.
That my file, and we are now starting with the commission and questions, and I don't have any file in front of me. I must point out that I get a bit disorganized in terms of my thinking.
No, apologies for that, Doctor.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Apology accepted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And I must apologize, Dr. Mashazi, because just before we started, I was interacting with you, and I did not see that your files were not before you. And I guess being your evidence leader, I somehow left you in a ledge there. We don't have to rush. The key files you should have before you are your statement and are your annexures. You confirm you have those.
Yes, I do.
If you need a moment to get your bearings, the commissioners are happy to accommodate. That was a tad destabilizing, and I do apologize for that.
I'm okay.
You okay? Okay, thank you. Let's turn then to your statement file, and in particular page 21. You remember at page 21, from paragraph 120 to 123, you are dealing with this very failure to implement the directives of IPID. I want in particular to refer you to paragraph 123, and if you could read that into the record, please.
Paragraph 123.
123.
Yeah. Advocate Bihari advised me that the report was insufficient and that the matter should not be persuaded further.
Now, in the context of the conversation you had earlier with Commissioner Baloyi, and to some extent as well with the chair, you indicated that you had received this advice from Advocate Bihari, and you subsequently satisfied yourself that the advice or the opinion was not entirely correct, and I think you said it's when you received the evidence. You suggested that this was before the interview, did I hear you correctly?
No, ma'am.
When was it? Relative to the interview?
It was post to the interview.
Post the interview that we played?
That was what was played, and it is obviously recently when we received evidence that these things really happened.
So the receipt of evidence you're suggesting is with the Commission's intervention? Is that what you're saying?
Can you repeat the question?
You say you received evidence that then led you to question the correctness of the opinion expressed by Advocate Bihari, as you have read at paragraph 123.
Yes.
Now, I'm testing to see, you say you formed the opinion that his opinion, you formed the view that his opinion could not have been entirely correct when you received the actual evidence. When and from who did you receive that evidence?
The correctness of the report and the evidence, we received it from the evidence bundle that was presented to us.
So, up until your date of retirement of the 31st of July, you were not aware that the opinion was flawed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The interview was held on the 3rd of February 2025, you confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And at the time, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was acting chief of police.
Exactly.
And had you formed the view that the opinion you received from Advocate Bihari at the time was incorrect, and this is before you retired, you then would have had the power to act against Brigadier Mkhwanazi in his capacity as the acting chief of police.
Correct.
But unfortunately, you were none the wiser until you retired.
Remember the evidence, we're receiving the evidence now from the bundle that we were actually given through the commission, from the statements and the evidence that we presented, that there is indeed some truth in the report, and there is also evidence supporting the report. Hence, I'm saying, if at that point we had evidence, I would have acted differently.
Indeed, and that's what I'm confirming. So basically
Yes.
what you are saying is, if you knew then what we've since come to learn
Yes.
through the commission, you would have acted. That's your
Correct.
testimony. You referenced receiving an opinion from Advocate Bihari. If I could just start here, was that a written or a verbal opinion?
It's a verbal opinion.
Just a verbal opinion. And am I correct to say that the totality of that opinion is encapsulated in your paragraph 123 that you just read? Effectively, that the report was insufficient and that the matter should not be pursued further. Is that the advice you received?
Correct.
Did you have an engagement with Advocate Bihari following that opinion to satisfy yourself that indeed the report was insufficient and that not pursuing the matter further is the correct course to take? Did you have that deeper discussion with him?
We had discussions as and when with Advocate Bihari. Hence, I indicated that he should actually expatiate in terms of his understanding about the opinion. Because I based my decision on the opinion that was given. And as I indicated also that in terms of the processes, when you receive reports of this nature, a lawyer or the legal department must actually interpret and give advice to the accounting officer as to what needs to happen.
Yes. So your decision was based largely, if not solely, in fact, on the legal advice you received from your legal advisor,
Correct.
Advocate Bihari. Commissioner Balo, you had indicated, I think there are questions and
Yes.
perhaps might be the appropriate junction.
Yes. The report, as you correctly say, Dr. Mashazi, the report is directed at the Chief of Police. It's not directed at you. And then you say in paragraph 122 of your statement, you say, notwithstanding this, I received the presentation of the report. So it was presented to you by iPad. Okay. How does that square up with earlier evidence that IPID presented it to MAPIA as well?
They have written the report to Mkhwanazi. It is
Yes.
part of the evidence. They presented the report. They wrote the report to him
Yes.
that he must take action against Julius.
Yes,
It's documented, signed by Ulu,
yes.
that he must take action. He must actually discipline Mkhwanazi. And for me, it was fair enough because the discipline of his junior officials lies squarely on him as the accounting officer of the department.
So when you say IPID presented the report to MAPIA, you meant it is addressed to him in writing? Because on the
Addressed to
face
him.
of it, indeed, you're correct, it's addressed to him.
Yes.
But it was presented to you,
Also, yes.
and you received it. Now, the report, and if Ms. Silo could remind me what page the report is in the bundle.
The IPID report,
Yes.
that is MAPIA JM 19, Commissioner.
Yes. So the report discusses the complaint, the allegation in paragraph 1. It's quite a short report of 3 pages. And then it concludes in 103, page 103 of the bundle. It gives you the recommendation, and then it recommends disciplinary action, disciplinary steps be taken in terms of the disciplinary procedure collective agreement. And it says for honesty and for failure to conduct himself with honesty and integrity. Now, on the face of it, it looks to me an employee relations matter. That's what it looks like. Why would you refer this recommendation to Advocate Behari and not your head of HR, Ms. Kasheka?
For me, at face value, I looked at the report and it contained like memorandum of agreement. And for me, I took it that it needs a legal opinion to advise.
I thought you received the memorandum of agreement later, the evidence. You didn't
No,
receive it with the report.
It was part of the report.
So when you received the report in September 2023, before you gave it to Advocate Behari, it already had the memoranda, the 2 memoranda.
No, this one is a memorandum of agreement concluded between IPID and South African Police Service as well as EMPD. I'm referring to this memorandum. And it was part of the report that was sent to Chief of Police to take action against Mkhwanazi.
So you say the reason you gave it to Advocate Behari, it is because it contained a memorandum between the IPID and the EMPD.
Correct.
And you were asking him to do what? Because you've got a report which recommends disciplinary action. That's the action that is required from the city and you have from the municipality, and you have a head of HR. What are you saying Advocate Behari should do with that recommendation? Because he He's not Mr. Mkhwanazi's superior.
I did not look at the recommendation only. The report itself, the content of the report, it must be interpreted legally and I must be advised legally. Obviously, the HOD HR will come and testify about labor relation issues that are related to the report.
Okay. Now, I'm not concerned about the HOD. We will speak to her when she does, because she will come and testify. So we will speak to her. I want to understand why it is you receive, there's a complaint, and you are told in page 1, in one short paragraph, what the allegations are. And in page 2, there's an analysis of what that investigation has revealed. And then you, in fact, the only reference to a memorandum is at page, it says, in the second page, it says, it has been ascertained that the suspect was acting and further discovered that the chief of police and deputies do not have powers to enter into a memorandum. The IPID memorandum with EMPD, may be missing it. I don't see any reference to it, so I don't understand when you say the reason you took this to Advocate Behar is because there was a memorandum between the EMPD, which had accompanied this report, between the EMPD and IPID. I don't see a reference to it in the report.
In terms of my evidence, when I started responding to this question, I indicated that anything that has memoranda or any document that would come from external service provider or external institution, we always take them to legal to assist me in understanding the documents. Remember, I'm running 26 departments and I'm not like legally trained or HR or engineering and so forth.
Yes.
For me to take a safe route, I need an advocate or the legal department to interpret some of these things before I take action.
Okay. Let me ask you, let me try lastly. You've told us you've now had the opportunity to read this report from beginning to end. And you say you now realize that whatever advice Mr. Bihari gave you was not helpful to you. Do you accept, now that you've had the chance to reread it, do you accept that given the recommendation in this report, the proper directing of this report would have been to employee relations or to HR to deal with what it recommends?
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioners. I think it's only appropriate to conclude with these matters regarding the memoranda, the blue lights and IPID. And I know they appear under different questions in your statement, so I will jump then about. Please pull out the annexures, the annexure file for NISA. You can close the MAPIA file for now.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Are you winning?
Yes,
I'm going to
I'm
ask somebody
winning.
to help you. You okay?
I'm winning.
Okay. Okay, if you will look.
Annexures, ne?
Yes, annexures file. Thank you. I want you to draw your attention particularly to annexure PN 1919.
Annexure?
PN 19. That would start at page 344. Now, this, to place things in their proper context, this is a letter addressed to Mr. T.A. Kiefelakai, the Director, Investigations and Information Management, as well as Acting National Head Investigations, IPID, and copied to Mr. W.M. Kulu, Senior Investigator, IPID. Mr. Kulu is the investigator in the IPID report that we have just been working through. It's dated the 6th of December 2023, and if you go to the last page of that at 348, you will see that it is signed by Advocate Njabulo Zulu, legal advisor, and Thabo Makwiting, acting HOD Corporate Legal Services, both with the city of Ikuruleni. You confirm you know them and they hold those positions. They held at the time those positions. Okay. Have you ever seen this letter and have you ever had opportunity to consider its contents?
This letter, as I was made to understand,
Yes.
was an internal letter from the department, and according to Advocate Kemi, said this letter was leaked illegally. It was never sent to IPID. That is my understanding according to the letter, but I haven't seen the letter.
You've never seen this letter?
I've seen the letter now in terms of the bundle that we received.
Would you be able to express a view on some of its contents in your capacity as accounting manager, strictly? Accounting, what, authority? Would you be in a position to engage effectively with this document?
Yeah, it's really not helping the process of dealing with the matter at hand.
We'll try and take it slow, and to the extent that you have to read specific paragraphs that I reference you, I'll give you the opportunity to do so. I'm starting at page 345. And this letter, at paragraph 5, records the following. The registration of vehicles was not done by the suspect in this case being Mr. Mkhwanazi, but by the authorized personnel fleet. The letter, and I jump 4 lines below, this letter has been authenticated by the author security company and is therefore not fraudulent. I understand the authors of this document to suggest that the registration of vehicles by EMPD was in fact effected. Is that the same understanding you have? And that registration was duly authorized?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying perusing the letter, looking at the letter, to be honest, is not assisting the process to deal with the actual misconduct.
In what way is it not?
Because if they're saying the registration of the vehicle, there are no challenges or legal challenges in terms of the registration of vehicle. For me, without those vehicles being presented as donation to the accounting officer, because the accounting officer is the only person who can authorize donations.
Okay.
So if we look at our donation policy, I was supposed to have had sight of this.
I understand you, and just to test my understanding therefore, then you are saying to the extent that there was such a registration, you can't support it because it is based on, it would be based on a donation that you as the city manager did not authorize. So, however they express themselves and they think that it was authorized, you disagree with the position assumed in this letter in that regard.
I disagree.
Thank you. I want us then to go to page 346 of the same document. In fact, I'll start at 345 at the penultimate sentence of 345. It records, and I read, Steyn furthermore states that this is the norm, as my understanding, as SEET program, Caesar's program, and Gauteng heavy vehicle donations were donated only on a letter. Do you see where I'm reading?
No.
From the bottom of 345, the penultimate sentence,
Yes.
that says Steyn further states, and this is a reference to, is it I.O. Steyn, who submitted a statement regarding the registration of these vehicles. And it quotes him as having said, this is the norm as my understanding as SEET program, SEET, S-E-A-T program, Caesar's program, and Gauteng heavy vehicle donations were donated only on a letter. Do you follow where I'm reading? Do you follow?
Yes, I follow.
Okay. Now, I want to test the correctness of this understanding. What is SEET program, Caesar's program, and Gauteng heavy vehicle donations? You approve donations for the city. What donations are being referenced here?
I don't know. I don't have an idea because it never came to my attention, to be honest.
Did you ever authorize any donations as described in the document here?
No.
To your recollection?
No, in terms of my recollection during my tenure, even the first term of office, I never approved such donations.
You never approved such donations. So to the extent that Steyn were to argue, as it suggested perhaps he is, that there were similar previous donations as he describes them, you would disagree that those donations, if they were found to have in fact taken place, would be lawful?
Correct.
You said correct.
I'm saying if those donations happened before, like Steyn is saying, it's been their practice of accepting donations at that level as a department. For me, it is incorrect because the policy is very clear.
Okay, I note your answer. On the page 346 still, after the quotation we just read, which is in bold, there is a question posed to IPID. Did you then consider that all other donations in the EMPD were also non-compliant with the process that you described, and surely Chief of Police and other senior management, including Deputy Chief Spies, who had lodged this complaint, cannot be ignorant of such donations? Furthermore, according to Steyn, the EMPD was under-resourced at the time. Did Chief of Police Mapieye and Deputy Chief Spies address this to effectively and efficiently protect the residents of Ekurhuleni? You see what I've just read. As a city manager, I'm inviting your comment on how your members express queries to IPID. Do you consider what I have just read into the record appropriate, as authored by both Mr. Zulu and Mr. Makwiting, addressed to IPID?
It is inappropriate.
If this had come to your attention at the time before you retired, what steps would you have taken?
I would have subjected this to a disciplinary action, but through the relevant responsible authority.
And in this instance, that would be Advocate Kemi Behari.
Yes.
I see, because they are legal persons. It's within his department.
Correct.
At 347, top of the page, it's, the first line is then ending to a statement starting on the previous page. I'm interested in the next sentence, and I quote, "The city is the one that stood to benefit from the registration of vehicles, particularly considering that the EMPD had a shortage of vehicles and there seemed to be no effort from the Chief of Police and senior management to address this." So the authors contend that that donation of vehicles and their registration in the manner that eventually was investigated by IPID was appropriate because EMPD had a shortage of vehicles at the time, and there was no effort on the part of Chief of Police and senior management to address this shortage. I bring this to your attention to invite your comment.
My comment is it is incorrect. Even though they were to receive donations, they were supposed to follow the process.
Yes. And lastly then, on the same page, and I'm on item 10 at page 347, towards the bottom of that page, starting at 5th line from the end of that paragraph.
Yes.
It reads, and it's a question posed to IPID. Why did you not conduct a thorough and detailed investigation into the donations process and verify the evidence of stain that this was a norm in the EMPD department? Why were the senior management not requested for explanations on the delay in reporting a crime, if indeed the actions of Mkhwanazi did amount to the same? End of quote. You see where I read. Now, I'll start with the latter part of that. Did the actions, knowing what you know now, I'll preface that, did the actions of Mr. Mkhwanazi, because I'm looking at you, did the actions of Mr. Mkhwanazi constitute a crime? And I say it simply because it is referred to as a crime here. In your view today as you sit here?
Correct.
You consider that that constituted a crime. To your knowledge, is it correct that receiving these kind of donations and registrations of vehicles from private sector and fitting them with blue lights, that this was the norm within the city of Ekurhuleni? Do you agree with that view?
That it was a norm. I'm not aware that they're receiving donations and even the registration of those cars and the blue lights. As I indicated, that the department is in Kempton Park and I do not get involved in the operations of.
But considering that now this trumps your authority, because only you can authorize donations.
Yes.
Now that entry there suggests that it is quite the norm.
No,
does that concern you? Because it would suggest that there are more vehicles that are treated in this manner by the EMPD.
It's concerning for me, and I think action should be taken by the relevant authority for them to make a statement that is a norm, which I am not aware of, which is incorrect and irregular. So the HOD responsible must definitely take action for such utterances and the decision that they're challenging an investigation that was done.
You indicated that this letter was brought to your attention by Advocate Bihari, who indicated that it was never sent. That's what you stated when we started.
I'm saying we saw it in the evidence bundle.
Yes. Yes. And you said Advocate Bihari confirmed to you that it was never sent.
Yes.
In that conversation with him, did you discuss its contents and specifically what I have just drawn your attention to?
I did not. We are preparing for the commission. I asked him that I saw this kind of letter here, and it was never brought to my attention. Then he said, no, it was an internal letter between themselves, and they never submitted the report to IPEC. That is what he said. So
you didn't get insight into Advocate Bihari's thinking as to the appropriateness of the content of this document?
No, ma'am.
That is an issue you suggest perhaps we take up with him?
Yes.
Okay. We shall do so. Jumping about, as I have suggested that we do in your statement, I then want to deal with the question of the upliftment of Brigadier Mkhwanazi's suspension, and I specify, as the question did say, by Human Resources Ms. Linda Kasheka on 24th May 2023, and the directive to the Chief of Police that he be redeployed to his substantive post as Director Specialized Services. Do you see where I am?
Yes, I see.
Your response to that question is reflected in paragraphs 85 and 86. You may summarize for the record what your response is.
My response is that I did not get involved in this because Julius at that point was a junior official. I have no knowledge of this, and therefore I cannot make further comments because it was done at the departmental level, at the level of Julius being a director in the department and being a level like a lower level that reports to the accounting office. So the redeployment and the withdrawal and so forth, I was not part of the process.
I appreciate you're not part of the process, but you were aware of the process as it unfolded. Is that not so?
I was not aware.
I need us to pull up Mapiea's file again, Mapiea and extras. You can close the current one, Miza, and put it away.
Yes, I have it.
I'll just give the commissioners a moment to locate the file. And I would like to refer you specifically, starting at page 177 of that file, JM29.
177.
At JM29, this is a letter headed Upliftment of Suspension. It is signed at the bottom by Linda Kasheka as HOD Human Resources. Oh, sorry, you haven't located it yet.
Yes, I have.
You have. It is dated the 24th of May. It's called Upliftment of Suspension and signed at the bottom by Linda Kasheka, HOD Human Resources.
Correct.
Basically, the content of this letter is to advise Mr. Mkhwanazi, as it's directed to him, the employee, that his suspension has been uplifted. Now, I see below Ms. Kasheka's signature, it suggests that this document was CC'd to you, so it was copied to you. You received it.
Yes, it was copied to my office, yes. Correct.
You draw a distinction between you and your office. Would you like to
I
elaborate on that?
don't. It was CC'd to me. I agree. Correct.
If you then go over leaf at page 178, and that is annexure JM 3030. This is a letter from Ms. Linda Kasheka once again. It is dated the 15th of June 2023. And it reads, I'll quickly read through it. Mr. Mkhwanazi's suspension was uplifted on the 24th of May 2023. The upliftment of his suspension did not have any condition attached to it. It has come to my attention that Mr. Mkhwanazi has been moved to a different position as director by law enforcement position, which is not what was approved. Do you see where I've just read?
Yes, ma'am.
Once again, you are copied in this document, in this.
Correct.
I want us to go back to this conversation we had earlier about the powers of the Chief of Police. You recall when we were considering the terms of Section 64, capital C, it said that the Chief of Police has got the power to transfer, appoint, and move members of police.
Correct.
As a city manager, is what Mr. Kasheka reflects here correct in the context of Section 64C?
Here, Mrs. Kasheka, she's actually advising. She is not instructing the Chief of Police in terms of the labor relations.
Why do you say she's advising?
If she was instructing, because it was emails back and forth between the two HODs. If she was instructive in nature, I was going to actually intervene. But now it was between the two of them, and subsequent to the emails between the two of them, the chief himself uplifted the suspension and redeployed Mkhwanazi to how he was advised by the HOD, by HOD Gasheka.
But why do you call it advice?
Pardon?
Why do you call the content of this document an
The
advice?
last, can I read the last paragraph? She says, I would like to advise
Yes.
that you should avoid processes that may lead to unnecessary disputes for the city.
Indeed. But she's not advising on the redeployment. She's advising against unnecessary disputes.
Yes, ma'am.
So the section you are reading does not relate to challenging the redeployment by Chief Mapieye. The section that deals with the redeployment is in the first paragraph. And she concludes that statement by saying, by challenging that he has been moved to a different position as director by law enforcement position, which is not what was approved. Approved by who? Considering that this is communication to the Chief of Police.
I explained earlier on that the Chief of Police has powers in terms of the SAPS Act. Also, he's governed by the Systems Act, Section 56, in conjunction with the systems of delegation. So, Ms. Gasheka, I'm sure she will talk more about it because an HR matter is a labor relation matter. She will talk more about it. I'm sure she based, I assume that she based her decision on the systems of delegation.
And that was your understanding on receipt of this letter as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in this instance, whose approval was necessary to obtain by Chief Mapieye before he effected that transfer?
Approval. Remember the approval, the transfers and recruitment processes, these are HR matters. He was supposed to have a discussion with Linda Gasheka, but here I can see they have their own interaction and communication. And the approval of actually transferring Julius or removing from this position to the other, he was supposed to do it because he's the head of department.
Yes.
And Julius reports to him.
So what approval did you understand that Ms. Gasheka specifically indicated needed to be sought? From who? From you as the city manager? Or from her as the head of department? I'm trying to get your understanding on seeing this.
Linda Gasheka will answer for herself.
I'm trying to get your understanding. That's why I'm not, that's
My
why I'm not
understanding-
asking you why she said. I said, what did you understand?
My understanding is that the letter is like advising. That is my understanding then, that she was advising the Chief of Police. If the Chief of Police was sort of uncomfortable with this advice of uplifting the suspension, he was supposed to actually escalate the matter. That he is forced by Linda or another HOD, because they're at the same level, that he was instructed to uplift the suspension.
Hence my question to you. They're on the same level. You are the city manager.
Yes.
Mr. Sheka says it can't happen without approval. Whose approval was she referencing? Is it your approval because both of them report to you?
It's obvious.
Okay. If it is that obvious, what approval was this that you had to be sought from you? And where does your power to approve that derive from?
Remember, I referred you to the systems of the two pieces of legislation that the chief had those powers. So Ms. Gasheka, in her response, that's why I said I assume she used the systems of delegations and she ignored the SAPS Act in terms of the powers of the Chief of Police.
So do you conclude that she was correct?
I'm saying she was not correct to say approval by who?
Yes.
Remember, I referred and I said I assumed that she relied on the systems of delegations and ignored the SAPS Act.
Okay.
In terms of the powers that are assigned or delegated to, or assigned to the Chief of Police, not even delegated, assigned.
Yes, that's a correct term. I agree with you. Commissioner? Oh,
no, if you're continuing on the theme, carry on.
I'm moving to the next document.
Oh, no, please let me ask. Ms. Mashazi, Dr. Mashazi, sorry, in that annexed bundle of my PA is still, and it's about this discussion about the authority of Mr. Sheka. If you go to page 177, it is an upliftment of suspension and it's addressed to Mr. Mkhwanazi, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, it's Kasheka, and you are copied as you have agreed that it's not your office, it is you copied. Now, that last paragraph there, it's not advice, it's telling Brigadier, this comes from the head of HR, to whom Brigadier Mkhwanazi doesn't report, as you have told us. He reports to Chief Mapia, who has the power to discipline, which you have conceded. But in that last paragraph, Mr. Sheka tells Mr. Brigadier Mkhwanazi that his suspension is uplifted and he must come back to work. From your evidence, it seems Mr. Sheka did not have the authority to uplift the suspension of Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and that authority lies with Chief Mapia. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know why she would have copied you? You don't get involved, you've told us, with disciplining of junior employees. And here you are. There's quite a number of correspondence where you are not copied, but when we now look at this suspension issue, you are copied. And you see that at page 177, at 178, you are copied again. This is the document you've just been discussing now with Ms. Sillo. And then again at page 179, it's Chief Mapia writing to Mr. Sheka, and he copies you. Why would they have copied you about a junior employee that you have absolutely no interest or authority to discipline?
I wouldn't understand, and I can't answer that, ma'am. Why would they copy me? Because Mkhwanazi is way far too low for me to be copied in terms of departmental processes. Page 177, the letter that is signed by Kasheka.
Yes.
I was not copied.
You are copied. If you look at the bottom,
The top one, the 24th May.
Yes. If you look right at the bottom, I thought you agreed with Ms. Sillo. Just below Ms. Kasheka's email,
Oh, I see.
signature. Beg your pardon.
And the next one, 178, I was copied, but I'm saying that they should explain the reasons why they copied me on junior official matters.
And you didn't ask, why are they copying you?
I deal with so many things, ma'am, and so many correspondence are coming into my office. So my email is like, and I get, in fact, I get queries from the public, number one. I get queries from this 26 department. Some of the CC documents, they get lost in the process because I deal with many issues.
Maybe let me put to you why it is of interest, why they have copied you, why that question is of interest and would require an answer. It's because the evidence that we have had, or the testimony that we have had so far, is that you had a hand in the decision not to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi eventually, which we have seen part of on the interview where you say you made a decision not to discipline him. There is also testimony that you were involved in the discussion or in the decision ultimately of Mr. Sheka to uplift his suspension and have him return to work. That's why the interest in my questions, at least, that you are copied on an HR matter that involves a junior employee. And there are these allegations that we've had that you had a direct involvement in how the disciplinary process against him eventually was aborted and scuppered.
I want to state categorically that I did not participate in the suspension, nor the upliftment of the suspension. I deny all the facts that they indicated, that I participated, I called them, I did everything. I deny those facts.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. I want to refer you then to the next document in the same file, and that's annexure JM 31. That starts at page 179. If you've located the document, this is a letter from Chief Mapieye, dated the 20th of June 2023. And it is addressed to Mr. Sheka and copied to yourself. You see at the top of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in this particular letter, Chief Mapieye states, and I quote, "In my capacity as Chief of Police, Head of Department EMPD, I'm directly responsible for discipline and managing of all EMPD members and staff." You see where I've just read?
Yes, ma'am.
I will then jump the next paragraph and go to the third, where he invokes the provisions of section 64C2B, and he quotes what it provides, subject to the applicable laws. He, Mr. Mapieye, as chief, will be responsible for the recruitment, appointment, promotion, and transfer of members of the municipal police service. You see in italics that quotation. Then he continues to state, "I redeployed Brigadier Mkhwanazi to perform the functions of the Director Bylaws Operation and Specialized Division with effect from 24th May 2023 till the disciplinary matters have been concluded." Next paragraph, "I ensured that Brigadier Mkhwanazi was treated fairly and in the best interest of council and the EMPD department. It is important to note that no legal rights and or benefits or salary of Brigadier J. Mkhwanazi are being infringed upon." And I will stop there. My question is, you are copied once again in this communication. Do you have a difficulty with the correctness of what Chief Mapieye states in that letter?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you have a difficulty with the correctness of the content of that letter?
I don't have.
As a city manager, why did you not advise Mr. Sheka accordingly? That on this score, Chief Mapieye is correct. You cannot direct that he redeploy. After he has deployed Mr. Mkhwanazi to this one unit, you cannot direct him to redeploy because section 64C2B, as quoted, actually gives him the exclusive power. Why didn't you do so? To correct Mr. Sheka's error.
I think in my package or whatever, there's a letter
Yes.
where Chief of Police wrote to me and complaining about Gasheka and the process and so forth, where I addressed Gasheka and also General Mkhwanazi.
We'll deal with that. I think that was in relation to
No,
the
no, no, I'm
appointment by the
responding to
55.
say I did something about this and there's a letter to that effect.
No, what I'm pointing out to you, Doctor, is that letter, and we will get to it. It's in relation to the appointment of the 55 people to various posts by Mr. Mkhwanazi. So we will get to that letter. This particular correspondence we are dealing with relates purely and solely to the redeployment by Chief Mapieye of Mr. Mkhwanazi, as he says, pending the conclusion of the disciplinary processes. My question to you is, if you accept that he's correct here, as a city manager and copied on this communication, why didn't you correct Mr. Sheka to say you're going down the wrong lane?
As I indicated that Ms. Gasheka, maybe she's not aware of the SEPS Act because everything is based on the SEPS Act in terms of the powers that are assigned to the Chief of Police. Her understanding, I assume, that it was through the Systems of Delegations and Municipal Systems Act. So that's why it is important that the author of the letter explains her position in terms of this. In terms of the misunderstanding, well, there's always misunderstanding between the HODHR and other departmental heads in terms of her role as an enabler. Remember, she's playing a supporting role towards all the departments in terms of recruitment, discipline, and so forth, because labor relations, it is one of her functions. Chief of Police is one of the HODs that would have challenges with how she did things. But at some point in this letter, in these documents, I address the issues about the other overstepping her powers.
Perhaps let me assure you, the author of these documents will definitely come to the Commission to explain. I am not, and I cannot expect you to speak on her behalf. She shall speak for herself. My question to you was slightly different. You said you accepted the correctness of what Chief Mapie states. And I'm asking you, why did you not intervene at that stage to draw Ms. Kasheka's attention to the fact that on this score, Chief Mapie is correct?
In terms of my recollection, I don't want to say I did or I did not. Remember, these things happened in 2023, and I'm actually dealing with a lot of issues, to be honest, and I cannot be expected to remember each and every letter that was CC'd to me. As I indicated, that I'm running a big metro with 26 departments, over 18,000 employees with different challenges. So it is important to know that at some point, some of the things will actually not be dealt with accordingly in terms of my responsibilities as an accounting officer.
But surely, in this regard, there are a handful of HODs who report directly to you. It's not about the thousands of employees within EMPD or within the city. Surely that you can deal with in your daily life at work.
As an accounting officer,
Don't you give guidance to your direct reportees?
I do.
Okay.
But-
Your guidance was required here. What happened?
But
You say you don't remember whether or not you gave it.
yes, I don't. I
All right.
don't remember, to be honest, ma'am, whether I did or I did not. But all I remember, because there's documentation here, I addressed the matter.
When and how?
I addressed the matter in my letter to them, where I even requested the Chief of Police to draw up a policy and indicated to both Kasheka and Mkhwanazi that they cannot overstep their mandate and they must respect the authority of the Chief of Police.
As I pointed out to you, that was regarding the employment of the 55.
Yes.
Yes. Not
Yeah, that
regarding
one-
Mr. Mkhwanazi's redeployment. It was a different issue. And I concede that you did write a letter to that effect. So you are not entirely correct to say you addressed this issue, this particular issue before
This
us.
one I did not address. I don't remember, I don't recall. Hence I'm saying I do not recall, ma'am.
I accept
And
that.
as I was not involved, though I was CC'd, and I indicated in my response that I received too many emails.
Yes.
And the CC ones obviously will not take precedence to the ones that are directed to me.
As a matter of interest, what was the practice within the city? What is the purpose of copying you in some correspondence, as Commissioner Baloyi correctly pointed out? In some correspondence you are not copied, in others you are. What is the relevance of that, and on what is the decision based as to when to copy you and not to copy you?
I don't know at what point did they decide to copy me. Hence, I'm saying the authors of the letters who copied me must actually talk to those letters, why they copied me.
So are you suggesting that because you don't know why they copied you at the time you received them, you never considered them?
To be honest, I never even read this. I see this thing, I now recall this thing because I see them. But as I indicated, these things, they happened in 2023, and you can imagine the amount of work and the emails that one receives on a daily basis. They are too much.
With wisdom of hindsight, would you agree that these are important matters, considering the basis for the suspension and the charges against Mr. Mkhwanazi, the blue light saga?
Correct.
And that, and again I say with benefit of hindsight, you perhaps ought to have paid better attention to the issues and intervened appropriately as city manager. Would you accept that?
Correct.
I would like to move on to another question. And this time, I think we have
Sorry,
about...
Advocate.
Yes, yes.
Is it a different topic?
It's a very
or-
different topic completely, Commissioner, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like Dr. Mashazi to address the specific allegations by Chief Mapieye and Mr. Ngeza to the effect that that Dr. Mashazi called them on WhatsApp and instructed them to uplift the suspension. Because that was a specific allegation and she deals with it in the statement.
And in fact, that is what I was leading to when I say it's a different topic. By different topic is from the iPad
Oh, okay.
and all that.
Maybe let me
But
get
that is exactly where we are headed. If you didn't hear all what Commissioner Khumalo said, Commissioner Khumalo referenced allegations by Chief Mapieye as well as Mr. Ngeza that you intervened directly and you directed that the suspension of Mr. Mkhwanazi be uplifted. That's what he was referencing. And you deal with that from your page 16, paragraph 87. It starts at paragraph 15 as questions number 7 and 8. It starts at the bottom of 15.
Okay.
That questions 7 and 8. And it reads, the disciplinary proceedings instituted into Brigadier Mkhwanazi's conduct in relation to the vehicles registered under the city's name, the stoppage of the service of a charge sheet, the withdrawal of internal investigations in relation to the above, and your role in that regard. You then, from paragraph 87 through to paragraph 112, respond to the two questions at the same time. Would you like to provide a summary of your responses to those questions to the Commission?
Firstly, I'd like to indicate that I did not stop or interfere in the withdrawal of the investigation, or did I stop the department from charging Brigadier Mkhwanazi? And I also deny the fact that I called both Chief of Police and Xolani Ngeza through WhatsApp. My phone is free for any investigation through the relevant authorities to check if I did make that call or those calls. I deny that I ever called them to stop the investigation, nor stop the disciplinary action.
Can I ask a follow-up question, Dr. Mashazi? If you did not instruct either Mapieye or Ngeza to stop the disciplinary proceedings, then who did? Why did they suddenly stop the disciplinary process of Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
Let me indicate that even the internal report that they are basing the investigation on, I was not even copied. I don't know. I haven't seen the report. So I was far from this process. I do not know, and I did not stop anyone from disciplining. And I wouldn't tell who told them to stop. They must prove that I've called them, or I wrote to them, or I messaged them that they must stop. And my phone is here. It can be taken for investigation as to whether I made those calls. They indicated in their reference that in somewhere May 2023, in terms of the evidence, their statements, that on the 23rd of May 2023, somewhere there, I called them. I made a WhatsApp call, firstly to Xolani and then to Chief Mapieye. It is untrue.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner.
Dr. Mashazi, I think earlier on I asked you a question about whether you became aware of intended disciplinary action against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Am I correct in my recollection that you said no, you never became aware of that?
Yes, I was not aware that he's been investigated or disciplined. I was not aware. As I reported and indicated that he is a junior official, I do not get involved. It means I must get involved in all these departments with different lower ranks. I can't.
When, to your recollection, did you first become aware of
In
any
terms of-
disciplinary investigation and disciplinary steps against?
In
Brigadier
terms
Mkhwanazi?
of me being aware about the misconduct of Mr. Mkhwanazi, it was during the presentation of the IPIT report to me.
Okay. All right, so the testimony that we have heard from Mr. Ngiza is that he and Chief Mapieye met with you in February of 2023. That is long before the IPIT report. They met with you outside the office. They called, you were not available, and you asked them to meet you at a different location where you were going to be. And they came to meet with you. This is in February 2023. And they informed you about the media inquiry of the blue lights from Jeff Wicks, the investigation, and that steps are to be taken against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. And according to both of them, Chief Mapieye and Mr. Ngiza, in their testimony, you were supportive at that point, that whatever action needs to be taken against Brigadier Mkhwanazi they should act as they deem appropriate. Is that testimony incorrect?
It is incorrect.
So you
I
didn't
never met with them.
you did not meet with them at Dada Motor World on the
I did
16th
not
of
meet with
February
them.
2023.
Yes, ma'am. If I want to have a meeting with officials, especially a meeting that concerns official matters of the city, I hold my meetings in the office.
Yes.
And I do not understand why would they choose to say they met me outside. So their statement is untrue, and I cannot respond to their allegations.
Is this place where Mr. Ngiza claims they met you familiar to you, that Dada Motor World? Is it a place? You don't need to give me details. If the answer is yes, it's yes.
The
Otherwise,
answer is
it's
yes.
it is familiar to you.
I know the area.
Why do you think they would be dishonest about something so benign? We went and met with the city manager to report to her what we are planning to do, which is to discipline, and she was supportive of it. I mean, they're not casting you in a bad light. Why would they speak? Would they lie about something like that?
Obviously, the two, Ngiza was dismissed from the city. He's disgruntled, and he turned this commission to come and air his grievances. He was dismissed for dishonestly for dishonestly presenting false qualifications.
Yeah, well, I guess if you may allow me to interrupt you, I know you want to speak to that, but my question in particular, more directly, is
Why would
what this testimony that I've summarized to you, it doesn't cast you in any negative light at all. And so my question is, why would they lie about something that in fact is in your favor?
I don't know. They may answer that
Okay.
because I don't know. I'm not aware of that meeting, and I deny everything they said about it.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a follow-up question, Dr. Mashazi? Are you saying that the first time you became aware of the so-called blue light scandal was when you saw the IPIT report in September 2023?
Exactly correct.
So something which was in the news and cast the municipality in a bad light, you saying for about 6 or 7 months you were not aware of it and nobody told you about it?
I was not aware. I became aware with the IPIT report. Remember, the department is in Kempton Park, and whatever they do that side, I'm not aware of what is happening. And in terms of the news, to be honest, because I'm being actually bullied by the media, I don't read, and I don't watch television, to be honest.
And because you were copied on all the internal letters dealing with Brigadier Mkhwanazi's suspension, did you never bother to inquire what the suspension was about?
I didn't. As I indicated that I received numerous emails, and the CC emails to me, they would not take precedence to emails that are directly sent to me as an accounting officer.
Thank you, Commissioners. You deal at from paragraph 100 and 101, at page 18. And at paragraph 100, you state, Mkhwanazi later alleged that he received a WhatsApp call from me, and then you dispute that and you attach. And at 101, you engage with what you call Chief Mapiea's allegation to the same effect that he received a WhatsApp from you. And once again, you attach a screenshot of your phone, I take it. I'd like to read Mr. Mkhwanazi's statement, which you were provided with. At paragraph 46 of Mr. Mkhwanazi, I can read it out unless you want to satisfy yourself that I'm not putting words in his mouth. Mr. Mkhwanazi states, on the night of the 23rd of May 2023, I received a missed call from Dr. Mashazi. I called her back some 30 minutes after the timestamp of the missed call. She had found out about the request for the extension of Mr. Mkhwanazi's suspension period. In that call, Dr. Mashazi was virulent, aggressive, and accused me of being personal, hateful, and that I was targeting Brigadier Mkhwanazi. She yelled at me and told me that Chief Mapia and I hate Julius. We are too personal. During the telephone call, she told me that kinahana hore ke masepala wa ka. I think it's my municipality, meaning that I think this is my municipality in Setswana. He attaches a date to it. He says the 23rd of May. So that's the allegation advanced by Mr. Mkhwanazi. Let's go to your annexure IM17, which you invoke to challenge the correctness of Mr. Mkhwanazi's statement, and that appears as your annexure IM17, page 55 of your annexure file. Your own annexure file. It will be under tab IM17, page 55.
55. Yes, ma'am.
You do recall when I read out the paragraph from Mr. Mkhwanazi's statement that he put the date of the 23rd of May 2023 as a date on which he received this call from you, or he missed a call and then he returned it, and you had that what seemingly was an unpleasant conversation about Mr. Mkhwanazi's continued suspension. If that is the date that this is alleged to have happened, what value must the commissioners attach to your IM17, which, if I read it correctly, is a screen grab of your WhatsApp written communications between yourself and Mr. Mkhwanazi, and firstly, relates to different dates, the 17th of April 2023, and the other one relates to the 4th of August 2023. How is that proof that you never had the conversation as Mr. Mkhwanazi suggests?
Thank you very much. The last conversation I had with Mkhwanazi before May. It was on the 23rd of April, on the 17th, and I don't recall what we were discussing.
Yes.
And then the next conversation with him was on the 4th of August, where he writes to me, "Good morning, Slobo," complaining about his issues.
Yes.
About his issues with the department, about his qualifications.
But I'm saying this is a screen grab of WhatsApp written
Yes.
communications. He said it was a telephone call. Whether or not there was such a telephone call, surely it's not expected to be found in Annex 17 because that's the content of WhatsApp communication, written communication. That would be on your call log. Hence my question to you, what do you suggest the commissioners do with IM17
The
in
commission-
regard to the allegation as advanced and couched by Mr. Ngiza?
The commission has a right, as I indicated, that they can take my phone to the expert to check I don't know which service provider in terms of calls and whatever is actually assigned to check calls. I'm free to hand over my phone to be checked.
Okay.
To be checked in terms of this allegation.
So, at least for now, then we accept that IM17 does not address the direct allegation by Mr. Ngiza.
Yes, we accept. I was just, this IM17, I'm just showing you the calls that I had with him, WhatsApp calls that I had with him. And there's nothing on the 23rd of May, the whole of May, we never communicated with Mr. Ngiza. This evidence is just to show cause that I never had any communication with him during that particular time where he says I communicated with him to stop the investigation.
But is it not so that at paragraph 100, notwithstanding his paragraph 46, where he says he received a call, he missed a call from you, at your paragraph 100, you are the one who characterizes that call as a WhatsApp call. He never called it a WhatsApp call. So why would a WhatsApp record assist in that regard?
When you look at the missed calls or whatever, or communications, you'll see that there's no communication between me and Ngiza during that particular period.
By WhatsApp.
Via WhatsApp or call log.
Does Annex IM17 speak to your call log?
Remember, in terms of this, Mr. Ngiza alleges that he received a WhatsApp call. A WhatsApp call would appear here.
No, that's what I'm correcting you about. What I read out to you, paragraph 46, he says, I received a missed call from Dr. Mashazi. His paragraph 46. You are the one who characterizes it as a WhatsApp call.
Oh, okay.
So perhaps you mischaracterized it,
Yes,
and
as a
then you
call.
went into your phone on the WhatsApps to try and locate that date. Is that possible?
Yeah, even call log I did check. There's nothing like that.
Did you check the call log?
There's nothing like that.
So why didn't you share a copy of that call log for the appropriate date,
Like my
as you
calls-
did with the WhatsApps?
The call log, obviously some calls, they disappear as and when you get calls and so forth. Hence, it's important that if the commission wants to satisfy itself, they can go to the relevant service provider to check if indeed I did receive calls from Mr. Ngiza.
I can assure you the commission will be quite happy with the call log you checked. Where is that one?
The call log that I checked, I don't have it.
You said you checked and there was no such a
Yes,
call.
I don't have that info, that call from
So
Ngiza.
which log did you check, Dr. Mashazi?
The call log.
Which call log? Because I was going to invite you to, that you share the very log with us. It doesn't have to be so formal as to be forwarded by a service provider. We are happy to accept yours. Instead of a WhatsApp, we get a normal call log. Where you checked and you satisfied yourself. As
The
you
call logs in
stated.
terms of my phone and the calls and everything, they end up in 2025-05. That is the report from my phone.
I would have expected as such, but you are the one who told the commissioners that you checked the call log, and there is no call
There's nothing,
for the
yes.
23rd of May 2023. You offered that, and I was
Exactly.
asking you to share that call log with us, that very one, where you satisfied yourself that there was no such a call on that
Here's
date.
my phone. There's no call from Mr. Mkhwanazi, and
In
I
2025.
want to reiterate that the commission is free to go to the service provider and get the information.
You then at paragraph 101 deal with Mr. Mapie's allegations regarding the withdrawal, as you say, or stoppage of the disciplinary or investigative process. This is untrue, and your approach to that is the same. You give a screenshot of the WhatsApp chat annexed as I am 18 between yourself and Chief Mapie. And I am 18 would be relevant only if Chief Mapie had claimed that it was a WhatsApp call, which he did not.
The answer is the same, that
Yeah.
the commission can satisfy itself and get the information from the service provider that can assist them in locating those calls.
Okay.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
at least you are satisfied that I am 17 and I am 18 doesn't help the commission insofar
Yeah,
to
maybe
determine
I
whether
mis-
or not there was such a conversation, unfortunately.
Maybe I misunderstood whether it was a WhatsApp call, because they normally phone me on WhatsApp, all of them.
Okay. At 110, at page 19 of your statement, you make a definitive statement, and you say, and I quote, "The direct evidence, annexures I am 17 and I am 18, confirm the following. One, I issued no instruction to withdraw, stop, or interfere. Second, I made no WhatsApp calls regarding this matter. The allegations are unsupported, uncorroborated, contradictory, and false." Would you accept the proposition that insofar as they are relevant, I am 17 and I am 18, they prove only that there was no WhatsApp communication between you and Mr. Ngqiza on the one hand and you and Mr. Mapie on the other hand in that period? That's all they serve to establish. Not that you did not issue the instructions in the manner that they claimed. They don't have that effect, those two annexures. And that the allegations they make are therefore unsupported. Those two annexures don't help us in respect of the two claims that you advance, correct?
Well, the annexures, as you are indicating, that they are not helping the commission, and I want to assume that the commission will take further step and check the calls through the reliable institution. But I still reiterate my statement on paragraph 110, that I issued no instruction to withdraw, stop, or interfere. I made no WhatsApp calls regarding this matter. The allegations are unsupported, uncorroborated, contradictory, and false.
I know that, and I read it into the record, but I'm just saying that is your statement, but I am 17 and 18 don't support that statement. Simply because there are WhatsApp screen grabs. Maybe your claim is broader than what I am 17 and what I am 18 can do for you. Would you accept that?
Maybe my...
The WhatsApp, I am 17 and I am 18, your claims are broader than what those two annexures can do, because those two annexures only speak to WhatsApp communications.
Well, I think it's also upon the commission's mandate to actually get supporting documents from them. If they had those calls with me, they should actually give evidence to that. Or if there was a message, WhatsApp message or whatever, the onus is on them to prove that I did call them or I did give directive in terms of this process.
That's fair comment. We engaged with the two annexures simply because you mischaracterized their allegations. You thought they had alleged they were WhatsApp communications. That's the only point I sought to make with you. And you and I have agreed, and you have offered the commission to access your call logs to the extent that it's necessary. At the same time, I do take your point that they too must tender evidence before the commission to prove that such calls as they alleged did take place.
Thank you.
Note taken.
No, just maybe to be sure where we land on this, can I maybe make the suggestion that it is probably quicker. You've raised a specific defense. You said, I've no WhatsApp communication with these people. And then we have seen from these documents that, and there are evidence that in fact they didn't allege WhatsApp calls, they just said calls. You are saying your call log will show that you didn't have those calls. Can I maybe suggest that it may be quicker and more efficient if you provided your call logs, because it's information that is easily and efficiently available to you. I know I have itemized billing, for example, and I can do numbers, that you may be quicker to do that, especially considering where we are in the process of hearings and we have to submit our report on the 17th, that it might be something that you want to consider, if you consider it important enough to
Okay, we'll try
show
and
that.
get the call logs from the service provider.
So to say that?
We'll try and get the call, but the owners also from their side, they should get
Of course,
the
on their
evidence,
phones.
because they made those allegations.
I accept that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like us to move off that topic and that question. Dr. Mashazi, and now we have to retrace our steps and go sequentially now. We went about differently jumping because we were dealing with themes more than the order
How
of the
many
questions.
questions are still left?
We are at the tail end, I can assure you. And in fact, the next question we deal with, it's a completely uncontroversial question. It's question 3 at your page 12.
Page 12.
And this question arose because some witnesses referenced this particular policy and highlighted what you stated your paragraph 71, that there is a policy called Ekurhuleni's Grants, Donations, Sponsorships and Gifts Policy. And that in terms of that policy, only the city manager may authorize acceptance of donations. And that you highlighted 71. The question was posed to you to confirm whether their interpretation of the policy is correct.
Correct.
And my reading of your response to that particular question from paragraph 67 to paragraph 74 is at least that is one point you agree with the witnesses that came before, that only you can authorize those donations.
Correct.
Yeah. So, see, we're done with the one question already. That leads us then to question 4.
Can I just
Yes, absolutely,
to close
absolutely.
this off? In paragraph 71, it says donations and sponsorships may be accepted only if they do not create expectations of reciprocal benefits. That's a policy position. So, and I think the answer may be obvious, but let me put it to you anyway. If Medit 24, I think that's the name of the company, or even VIP Cat Protection, if they made the donation to the alleged donation to the city, if they did that with the expectation that in return they will receive business or favorable consideration from the municipality in the business of the municipality, that would offend that policy position. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Advocate Silo, maybe it's fair
yes.
to explain to the witness what the donations relate to. My recollection is that there was the 300,000 for the cadets, and then there was the donation of 4 vehicles.
Indeed, I don't have a challenge with that. As I indicated, the question was posed to her because that is, in terms of policy, her power, just to confirm on record that there is firstly such a policy and what it governs, firstly, and secondly, that only she as city manager may approve donations. So the inference to be drawn from her confirmation would be that any other donation that does not conform to the terms of the policy is ipso facto null and void.
Dr. Mashazi, maybe the donations we are dealing with in this commission, only two have been mentioned. One was a donation of 300,000 for the training of the cadets, and then the other one was the donation of the 4 vehicles by CAT Protection Services or Security Services. You can confirm that you did not authorize or accept those donations.
I did not authorize, no accepted
And
donations.
if anybody had accepted them on behalf of the city of Ekurhuleni, that would be contrary to the prescripts that apply.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's move then, Dr. Mashazi, to the next question, which is question 4. And this particular question required you to state your role, if any, in the implementation or failure to implement the criminal record vetting process initiated by Chief Mapie on 21st December 2021, in terms of which all EMPD employees were required to be vetted in terms of the National Strategic Intelligence Act 39 of 1994. You recall. And then you provide your response to that in 4 paragraphs, paragraphs 75 to 78. If you could summarize for the Commission your response there too, if you had a role at all in stopping the implementation of the process to vet members of EMPD.
Thank you, ma'am. The Chief of Police had a right to vet officers on an annual basis. That was his responsibility. As an accounting officer, I do not get involved in the vetting process, and I never stopped any vetting process or called anyone to stop the vetting process, as per the evidence that was given here that Mkhwanazi said he called me. He never called me, and I never entertained anything that is contrary, because my problem is in the EMPD, it is alleged that more than 500 officers have criminal record, and it is the duty of the accounting officer of that department, which is Chief of Police, to ensure that each and every official, whether junior or senior, must go through the vetting process. And I cannot, as an accounting officer, stop that process for anyone.
So you, as you touched on it, the allegation was there had been a failure to comply with Chief Mapie's directive for everyone to be vetted within EMPD, the officers of EMPD. And at that meeting, and one of the heads of the units that had failed to ensure vetting of his members and himself included was Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Commissioner Spies testified that at that meeting that where Chief Mapie was pursuing the implementation of the directive, Brigadier Mkhwanazi became very angry, and he called you to complain that he is being subjected to this process and that the requirement for vetting was not part of his employment contract. And having had that telephonic discussion with Brigadier Mkhwanazi, you directed that Brigadier Mkhwanazi and his team not be subjected to vetting. Are you saying that that conversation never took place at all?
It never took place at all.
It's not the content of the conversation is misquoted. But you're suggesting that that call taking place at all is a complete fabrication of both Chief Mapie and Mr. Spies?
The call, ma'am, never took place, and I never instructed Mkhwanazi not to be vetted, nor did I instruct the Chief of Police to stop the vetting.
I'm trying to locate the instruction issued by Chief Mapie, but I think the concept you are familiar with of vetting. Do you support the view that it is an exercise that every single police officer within EMPD must undertake?
Correct, I do.
Learning as you did, whenever it is you did, that Brigadier Mkhwanazi failed to comply with that directive, whether it's because he refused or was just a failure on his part, and failed to ensure that members of his unit are duly vetted. What is your comment to that?
He was unruly. The chief of police was supposed to deal with him.
You say he was?
He's being unruly in terms of the processes. If the legislation and the chief of police gives directives that each and every member of the EMPD should be vetted, why would you refuse to be vetted? For me, it's unlawful and irregular.
And for the record, that directive is Annexure RS 18 to River Species statement. So it's there species annexures. Annexure RS 18, starting at page 47. Have you located it?
Yes.
This is dated the 21st of December 2021 from I.J. Mapieye, Commissioner Chief of Police, EMPD, and directed to all divisional heads, all EMPD employees, EMPD. Now, it starts by stating a requirement, according to Chief Mapieye, as reflected in the 4 pieces of legislation that he invokes. And he states it's a standing requirement that the criminal record status of all employees of EMPD be verified on an annual basis. Then he lists 4 pieces of legislation. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Do you agree with him in that regard?
I agree with him.
I would like to understand your attitude towards compliance with that requirement as a city manager. How important do you think the issue of compliance is?
It is important, highly important. The issue of compliance, like vetting, is important that these people are vetted, as there's generally complaints that they're taking bribes and so forth, and some of them are involved in criminal activities. For me, it's important as an accounting officer that they should be subjected to vetting.
As a city manager, what steps have you taken to satisfy yourself that at least Chief Mapieye, as the head of that EMPD department, complied with the requirement for vetting?
Remember, when he did this vetting, it was never addressed to me that I am vetting
If
my
I
junior
may
officials.
interrupt you, maybe I put my question inelegantly. My question to you was, if you appreciate the correctness of that statement he makes, that it is a legal requirement, and I accept that it is one you believe in, you confirm, and then you take seriously. Now, speaking to a city manager, what steps, while you were city manager, did you ever take to ensure that at least police officers within EMPD, from Chief Mapieye, are duly vetted as prescribed by those 4 pieces of legislation? What steps did you take?
When the vetting process, the whole vetting process,
That there is at full compliance with the requirement of vetting. Did you ever seek to satisfy yourself?
Let me explain how
Yes.
the process works, ma'am.
Okay.
Chief Mapieye is vetted at the point of appointment as a senior manager. Then it is his responsibility in terms of the legislation to vet his junior officials, wherein the accounting officer does not get involved.
Okay. I accept that. Was the accounting officer satisfied that Chief Mapieye discharged his duties in that regard?
Exactly.
These are police officers whom we provide with inter alia weapons to carry around. I'm asking about the steps you took to satisfy yourself that Chief Mapieye has discharged his duty. Did you take any in the time that he has been the head of EMPD until your retirement? And I ask this question simply because you said the requirement is correct. The requirement is as stipulated by those 4 acts, and that is one that you take seriously. Now, I want to test the seriousness with which you relate to that requirement. What steps did you take Because personally, I must say, it concerns me that there are police officers through our payments, we provide weapons to, and a significant number of them are not vetted. Their criminal record status is unknown. And I would go so far as to suggest that would concern you too, as a citizen, that there are such police officers walking the streets, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Now, as a city manager, what steps did you ensure that it doesn't happen in Ekurhuleni?
There's a chief of police who, on a monthly basis or weekly basis or fortnight basis, would attend meetings with me. In terms of his operations in the department, to be honest, some of the issues I don't get involved in. If he had brought that to my attention, that the officers, I heard from the commission from this that there are over 500 officers who have criminal record. If he has brought that to my attention, I would take steps against him. The question would be, how did he appoint these people and why these people were not vetted? So that was never brought to my attention, that he had difficulties in vetting his officials.
I appreciate that, and I think let's not conflate issues. There is one issue, which is finding 500 members with either criminal records awaiting trial at various stages. There is that one issue. Then the other issue is concerning those officers who do not subject themselves to vetting. Those are two distinct issues. I'm not asking you about the 500. If you, as you told the Commission, that requirement must be complied with, and I'm not suggesting that you chase Chief Mapieye to ensure that it is complied with. And if you take it as seriously as you had suggested to the commissioners, I'm asking you, how did you satisfy yourself that Chief Mapieye complied with that very important requirement? Did you ever take any steps to satisfy yourself?
I trusted him as a police officer that he would do the right thing. Maybe it's an oversight, not for me to actually emphasize what he's supposed to do as an accounting officer. Remember, when you appoint these people, they are appointed in terms of their skills and their specialties, and they know their responsibilities, all of them. So I can't be chasing one person that, did you do this, why didn't you do this? Unless an issue is brought to my attention that, ma'am, I've tried to comply with 1, 2, 3, and these are the stumbling block. That is where I come in and assist.
Would it be fair to say that you took no steps to satisfy yourself that all Ekurhuleni police members are at least duly vetted? You didn't take, personally, you didn't take any steps, regardless of whatever failings Chief Mapieye may have had. It would be fair for me to conclude that and to suggest to the commissioners that you didn't find it necessary to take any steps to satisfy yourself as city manager.
Agreed.
Okay. Chair, it's 15:59. You had suggested a coffee break at 4. If we haven't finished, might this be an opportune time? Thank you, Chair.